There, I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, and as you can see there on the screen, we have a flash flood warning in place for Nassau County. Specifically, right over Hilliard is where this warning has been issued, just because we've had this kind of line of precip. It started out in Ware County this morning, working its way towards the south and east, and has become rather heavy and stalled out there in northern Nassau County, just south of the Georgia-Florida border. And Folkston, in fact, for our friends out there, about 2 inches in the last hour, and now Hilliard's seeing all this heavy rainfall. In fact, let's take a look at radar estimated rain totals here. Let's actually go ahead over the past. Well, I'm going to kind of look back the last 3 hours. Excuse me, and give you a good idea. So this is right over Hilliard. Looks like about an inch to, well, actually radar estimated, oh my, about 3.5 inches right in that area over Hilliard. You can see right about there. And then if we pull back the picture, you know, this is just outside of the flash flood warning, but just north of Folkston, this is radar estimated total, so it's not confirmed, but look at that number, 4.2 inches there into Charlton County. So yeah, heavy rainfall. Continuing with this line of showers, slowly working its way towards the south and east. And, you know, this does mean that into Duval County, we're going to be looking at that increasing rainfall over the course of the next hours. So, in fact, let's just put this on a loop, and we're going to get an idea of how fast this is going. And you're going to kind of walk with me with this. So we take a look at where this started, where it ended up over the course of about an hour. So it's moving towards the southeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. I'll pull up this right here and put about 15 on it. Let's be a little bit liberal with the forward movement. And I'm just trying to get a good idea of where this is going, when this will be arriving into the Jacksonville area. It's just like that, moving towards the, looks like more east-southeast. So, yeah, Jacksonville, closer to about noontime, we're going to be seeing those showers start to build its way on in. So give it about an hour or so, you'll start to see that, at least out towards the airport as well. You know, this whole line actually has some fairly kind of gusty conditions coming in with it, too. In fact, this is a look at velocity. And you know what's kind of interesting with the velocity? You know, earlier we had a little rotation in here. I don't really see anything that would warrant, you know, a broad rotation. But there is a good outflow, and outflow meaning that rain's coming down pretty heavy. So just out ahead of it, you see that 20, 30 mile per hour winds being indicated here on radar. And in fact, there was a special weather statement earlier. Let me see if we have any we had a special weather statement earlier on this specific area for some gusty conditions as well as the heavy rainfall. So here's the point. If you are traveling along US 1 there, especially heading through Hilliard out towards Folkston, or maybe you're just on the northwest side of Duval County here in the Jacksonville, the rain is coming, friends. No way of getting around it. And you know, this is all part of this broader setup we are seeing here today with the stationary boundary. In fact, I'm just going to pull back the picture. We have the stationary boundary, which is set up overhead. Let me see if I can. We'll try to pull back. There we go. This is what I was looking for. So let's pull back the picture, get the kind of look at the SAT-RAD. And I wonder why my satellite picture is not being displayed here. Well, I'll put on the satellite real quick for you. There we go. There we go. Now I can see my stationary boundary. Yeah, you can see it just like this. So here you go. Right there. I know this displays a cold front, just kind of drawing where this boundary is. And south of that is where we are seeing kind of these showers out there today. North of it, though, the dew points are much lower. In fact, if you head out towards Atlanta, they have dew points in the 50s. So it's much more comfortable autumnal air north of this front. While as you go south, you can kind of even see it on the satellite picture. You have all this cloud cover. You have the rain showers out here. We're kind of sitting in this very tropical, humid air mass. And in fact, while we're looking at this, let's just pull up the This is a look at the dew point. So 72 in Jacksonville, while if you just go north out towards Atlanta, I said 50s, it's into about 64 now. But if you continue to head towards the north, I mean, we look out towards Nashville, about 54 degrees. Cincinnati's at 53 for those dew points. And I point this out because this is definitely a clear demarcation line between those humid conditions that we're seeing over the state of Florida and the relatively drier air further off there towards the north. So once again, if you're just jumping in here on our live stream, we don't have a tornado warning or anything like that, but we do have a flash flood warning in Nassau County, specifically along US 1 over Hilliard until 12:30 p.m. This storm, though, is bringing heavy rainfall with it, and it's just been kind of sitting there over the Hilliard area, but also does have some fairly gusty winds possible of 30, 40 miles per hour ahead of it, especially if we're getting some strong outflow now passing out towards Callahan and out towards the St. George area. And yes, all of this is marching its way towards Duval County and into Jacksonville just into the around the noon hour here, expected push overhead. But even already around Jacksonville, we're already seeing some showers, local spots there into the Arlington area, out towards South Side, even extending back towards the south of Ponte Vedra, and also around Oakleaf here, the west beltway of 295, just towards the west of NAS Jacks, just towards the east of Cecil there, looking at a little bit of rainfall kind of set up at this hour. But this is, of course, the heavier stuff further towards the north and west. We are streaming on multiple social media platforms as well as FCN Plus here, so if you have any questions or anything like that, I would love to hear from you and just kind of get a report about how the weather is in your neighborhood. So I'm actually going to try to pull up our page real quick here on Facebook and see if you do have any questions or reports. Either way, like I said, I would love to hear from you, just kind of get an idea of what's going on in your neck of the woods out there. Ann says, that's where I was born. All right, Ann. And Hilliard specifically? Well, you know what? If anybody's born out there today, they're born on a very wet and rainy day. Thanks for your comment, Ann. All right, so yeah, once again, 12:30 p.m., flash flood warning is in place. Seeing those showers working their way out towards Callahan as well. Stand by. All right. Seeing those showers work out there towards Callahan, too. In fact, I'm going to try to pull up a camera out of the Callahan area. So right now, let me see. And this is one of those, it's not going to be a mint broadcast here. I'm kind of by myself tracking these storms here with you. So if you have any questions, let me know. Helps kind of flow things along. That's from our tower cam. We're looking towards the north, though. And yeah, you can see right over Jacksonville, actually a couple raindrops right on the screen. That's one of those showers there on the south side. This is actually right off of Southside Boulevard where this tower camera is. Kind of see those showers building on in. But let's look towards the north. All right, so I'm going to pull up our camera out of Callahan. Looks like the rain just starting to pick up there along US 1 just north of Callahan. And then we go over towards Hilliard, where it is absolutely coming down. And this is a spot where radar estimated in the last 3 hours, about 2 to 3 inches has fallen out there. You actually see, looks like this is the Hilliard weather stem there, Nassau County EOC, I believe. Got the sheriff truck right there in the foreground. Point is, it is raining all across that area. And let's actually even continue to march further towards the north. We'll look at downtown Folkston. This is just towards the east of the kind of the railway depot there where everybody goes and just kind of watches trains go by. Yeah, still got some rainfall out there. Nothing too crazy, nor am I saying anything is crazy out here right now. I don't want people to kind of take that away from this, but we do have that flash flood warning in place just because of the heavy rainfall we are seeing at this time. So let me go bounce back to the current radar image and give you a good idea. And I'll just even read off the flash flood warning here for you. All right, so here's just some of the just latest information. So a weather station out here has recorded about 2 inches of rainfall over the course of the last hour here. Doppler radar indicating this thunderstorm producing the heavy precipitation. Between 2 to 4 inches of rain has already fallen, according to the National Weather Service and our radar estimates here. And this is along US 1, specifically over the Hilliard area. An additional 1 to 3 inches is possible. So, flash flooding associated with this thunderstorm, definitely, small creeks, urban flooding, even in some of these poor drainage areas in Hilliard, right near town, could be backing up. You get some pooling out on some of the roadways out there. So, yeah, that's one of the big things. And I think Hilliard specifically is where you're going to be seeing that highest chance of that flash flooding. You are starting to get on the back side of this heavy precipitation, so that is something you might start to see some improvements here in the near future, but I don't think it's going to improve very quickly because you can kind of see all these showers kind of trailing in behind it there, just towards the north, even all the way back towards Waycross, still seeing some precip. All of this staying just towards the east of the Okefenokee, which is actually a little bit interesting. Usually the showers form up over the swamp versus just outside of it. Look just towards the south of St. George, though, and you know what you can kind of see on the radar imagery here? So you see that kind of... let me pull up my arrow. I'm going to try to put my arrow on the screen here. I want to point something out for you. Right there. So see this right here. Look at that kind of line. You see that just out ahead of the main heavy line of precipitation? That's actually what we call a gust front. And I do believe, due to all the heavy rainfall here, that this is pushing out a nice cool blast of air. And actually, while we have this up, we can even jump over to our velocity, get a good idea of what we're looking at here as far as the outward vertical motion of wind. And there we go. There's my velocity. Okay, we don't really have... It's kind of interesting. Yeah, right now that says about 6 miles per hour. Okay, it's not too crazy. We're looking at about... okay, there you go. About 20, 25. Oh, there you go. This is actually just towards the southeast of St. George. It looks like about 30 mile per hour wind being radar estimated there on the outflow. My point is that is definitely putting out a nice little gusty, breezy, but cooler blast of wind out ahead of this thing. Good news, I don't see any rotation or anything like that to be all too terribly concerned with. It's really just about the heavy rainfall continuing to come down with this thing. Once again, a flash flood warning in place until 12:30 p.m. out here in Hilliard. Now moving into Callahan, you're seeing some heavy rainfall, but specifically Hilliard already has gotten about 2 to 4 inches, an additional 1 to 3 just due to the slow nature of this. It's only moving forward at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, which would bring it into the Jacksonville area in about an hour time frame. And let's actually just kind of boot this ahead once again. There you go, Jacksonville about 11:58. Last time I mapped it out, it was showing about 12:04. So yeah, all this moving towards the south and east, and you just got to be ready for midday. The good news at about 12 o'clock, I will be live here at noon on First Coast News at noon, tracking these storms as well. So going to continue to be here with you as we watch this heavy rainfall. Like I mentioned, it's not a severe thunderstorm warning, but a flash flood warning, specifically in the Hilliard area, just due to that local heavy rain continuing to come down. All right, let me bounce back over. Like I mentioned, if you are watching us on FCN Plus, thank you very much. That's the good news. You have the app downloaded so you can get notified whenever we do go live, whenever there is a chance of some severe weather. But also, if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you on either YouTube or Facebook, our social media platforms. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our Facebook page, see if there's anybody commenting on there at this time as well. So no one just yet, which is fine. Just doing our best to keep you guys informed and I guess informed so you can make proper decisions with your day. For example, just talked to somebody about they were going to head out here downtown Jacksonville around 12:30, and I said, might be a little sketch there for you. So how long is this rain going to last? That's the other question a lot of people have asked. And we take a look, actually, we're going to look at our Futurecast here. First with the IBM, the high resolution kind of Futurecast we have. And here's the deal. This is just absolutely poor at initialization. It's showing 11 o'clock, nothing out towards the north and west. As a meteorologist, you always have to look at that and go, maybe I should move on to a different model outlook here. So I'm going to switch over to HRRR, which is handling this a little bit better. I think this one's actually looking a lot more. So here's the deal. And this is what we're kind of anticipating throughout the rest of today here on a Friday. We're going to have on and off showers extending through the afternoon and into the evening. Unfortunately, if you have Friday evening plans, maybe you're heading out to a football game for Friday night lights. There's going to be rain in the area. The question is lightning. And as you can see with this storm that's actually bringing this flash flood warning for Hilliard, there's not a lot of lightning associated with it. It's just heavy just downpours over a stagnant area, which for all intents and purposes will not cancel a high school football game. It's the lightning that you have to worry about. I played high school football many years ago, several decades ago, and I loved it. I loved it when it was raining. Absolutely fun time. We'll just say that. Take a look heading into Saturday morning. We do have some coastal showers. They're going to be popping off there again. And then into the afternoon, look at that. It's all due to this stationary boundary. It is not going anywhere very fast. And that's why on Saturday, in fact, we do have a weather impact alert in place, as well as Sunday. We put these out not to hype these things up. Never my goal. I do not get paid more to put out these things, okay? It helps with communication, and a lot of times simply saying over the holiday weekend, you're going to continue to see the rainfall. If you're going to head out to the beach, you're going to be worried about showers. And then on Sunday over towards Monday, you're not only worried about the rain, you're going to be watching that onshore wind kick up. And in fact, take a look at this graphic right here, because as this stationary boundary moves further towards the south, what's going to happen is you're going to see this little kind of troughing set up towards our east, and maybe in a broad low, which is really just going to help increase that onshore breeze. So an increase in rip currents as well as rough surf, and maybe a little bit of beach erosion by Sunday night and over towards Monday during high tides, which, as we all know, is not good weather to go for a dip in the ocean. And it's something I do worry about more so than a severe thunderstorm. In fact, on a holiday weekend, it's the risk of rip currents out there. It just seems like time and time again, people venture into the water that are not strong swimmers, who just needs to be like, hey, make sure you're being smart, take care of yourself out there, and get through it safely. Anyways, all right, so here's a look at our storm core, and yeah, you can see right there just south of St. George, kind of where the heavier of that precipitation is. It looks like it's about to cross 301, basically heading out across Nassau County, and all this is marching its way into Duval County. See over downtown, not all too bad, but look at this just towards the west of Callahan. You got that heaviest set of precipitation, and it is starting to back off. At least some of those heavier kind of storms starting to back off a bit into the Hilliard area. In fact, let's just take a look at this. I like doing this, the three-dimensional volumetric scan. There's a fun, fancy word that makes you sound smart saying it. And, kind of zoom right in on this. And what we're going to do is just get a look at the cloud top. So right here, I can kind of tell the cloud top's only going up, about 20,000 feet. We'd have some dry air mixed into it. So it looks like it's kind of capping this thing off at about 20,000 feet. So that's probably why we don't see a lot of lightning. By the way, you see the kind of those steps right there in the 3D scan? I've been seeing so many people on social saying that they're trying to use this as like the orbs or like these domes around radars, and it's a lot of conspiracy theory because sometimes these steps pop up on radar. The radar can't look at the ground; it has to gradually look up, right? Because it can't see over the horizon. So that's why you kind of see these steps here like that. So anytime you get a 3D scan closer to the radar, and sometimes it even shows up on the 2D scans, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, anytime you get a 3D scan, though, it is going to show these steps because right near the radar is not going to be looking straight up. It kind of sees here, then it sees there, then it sees there, and then it sees there, right? So it's kind of cool. A little bit of on our 3D scan, get you a little bit of an interest here from the airport, which the airport and where the radar dome is right there. Where it says Jacksonville, that's the airport. So that's why it doesn't see the top of the cloud tops just there towards the east. But the point is, as we go, there's hold on. There's Ratliff just on the edge of where that heavy precipitation's working its way in. But if we look back towards the east where we have that flash flood warning out towards Folkestone just starting to taper off. I just didn't scan over here. That's why it's flat, by the way. But right under Hilliard where you see the arrows pointing, yeah, that heavy rain is still definitely coming down. So if you're just joining in, once again, a flash flood warning is in place till 12:30 p.m. in Nassau County. By the way, all this green back here towards the left of it, that is a flood advisory in place basically for most of Charlton County because of this heavy rain you've already been seeing as well. All of this is shifting towards the south and east though, and it's going to move out towards Jacksonville. Give it about an hour, we'll see that increase in the precipitation closer to downtown. So yeah, this is a flood warning and a flood advisory there till 12:45 p.m. Going to continue to keep you posted here at First Coast News and firstcoastnews.com. Real quick, I'll just see if we have any other questions or comments here on any of our social media platforms. Always doing my best to answer them here because that's the whole point. Whenever we're streaming, this is not meant to be recorded and replayed over. This is just answering some of those questions for you in real time and trying to give you kind of the best information that you can get on this. So just real quick, let's see if we have any other questions. Not really. Just a couple comments, but that's good. That's good. That tells me not a lot of people are being significantly impacted by this for the time being. So with that said, flash flood warning for one more hour in Hilliard, but conditions are improving. But overall, this rainfall is moving towards the south and east. Malcolm, our digital producer behind the screen, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I do have to step out. I'm going to be on air at First Coast Living in just a few minutes here as well. So I'll need to bounce over there, and then I'll be live at First Coast News at noon, continuing to track these showers. So stay dry. Thanks for watching this quick little update on this flash flood warning and that heavy rainfall moving through Nassau County and heading into Duval County.